In this segment, we're going to learn about valid arguments and invalid arguments. Okay, an argument has two parts, the premises, that's what's given, and the conclusion. Okay, for a valid argument, the conclusion is true whenever the premises are assumed to be true. If it's invalid, then we call it a fallacy. Here's some steps, what we're going to do. We're going to test the validity with a truth table. So we're going to let our letters be specific statements. Okay, we outline that. We're going to express the premises and conclusion symbolically. Okay, all of those. We're going to construct a truth table. And then if the final column has all truths, in other words, it's a tautology, then we have an argument that's valid. If it does not, then it's invalid. So let's look at a couple of examples. In Star Trek, the spaceship Enterprise is hit by an ion storm, causing the power to go out. Captain Kirk wonders if Mr. Scott, the engineer, is aware of the problem. Mr. Spock replies, if Mr. Scott is still with us, the power should be on momentarily. Moments later, the ship's power comes back on. So the argument was, if Mr. Scott is still with us, then the power will come on. Next thing that happens, the power comes on. Therefore, and when we say therefore in math, we use these three little dots. Therefore, Mr. Scott is still with us. Let's determine if that's valid or invalid. So first we say P is Mr. Scott is still with us. Q, the power will come on. And we say if P then Q, that means if Mr. Scott is still with us, the power will come on. Q happens, the power comes on. Okay. Therefore, P, Mr. Scott is still with us. Okay, so this is your if-then part here. And the power comes on. Then we take this whole thing and do an if-then with the P. Okay? So let's look at it. Here's our first if-then statement. That's what we get. Okay. And we're going to put an and Q. So if this happened and that, okay, so when we do that, you look across, you can see it's going to be, when we do the and, right, we're gonna, let's see, we have this one and this one, so we get true, false, right? So we have this. Now we're gonna say, okay, if this happened, then P. Then we can conclude this. So we take this column and we go to the P. It's an if-then, so true to true is true. If you start with a lie, then you told the truth. If you start with the truth and you end with a lie, that's false. If you start with a lie, then you told the truth. See how this is an invalid argument or a fallacy? Because right here, we did not get true. Let's look at another one. I can't have anything more to do with the operation. If I did, I'd have to lie to the ambassador, and I can't do that. Okay, let's set it up. If I had anything more to do with the operation, I'd have to lie to the ambassador. I can't lie to the ambassador. Therefore, I can have nothing more to do with the operation. So if we let P be, I have more to do with the operation, and Q is, I have to lie to the ambassador. Okay, so if P then Q would be, if I had anything more to do with the operation, I'd have to lie to the ambassador. Then, not Q, I can't lie to the ambassador. Therefore, not P, therefore I cannot have anything to do with the operation. This is what it would look like, okay? If I had anything more to do with it, I'd have to lie to the ambassador, and I know I can't lie to the ambassador. So if that happened, then I can't be part of the operation. Let's set it up. So here's our truth table for that. There's our if P then Q. Here's our not Q. And remember, when we're doing and, we're doing this column and this column. We get false, 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 true. And then our conclusion is not P, okay? So we're going to take this column and go to that one, and we're doing an if-then. Start with a false, all of those are true. If you start with the truth and it turns out to be true, it's true. So this one is a valid argument because we have all truths over here. This one is a tautology.